All over in Egypt, a judge at a mass trial has recommended the death penalty for 683 people, including Muslim Brotherhood leader Mohammed Badie. The defendants faced charges over an attack on a police station in Minya back in 2013, in which a policeman was killed. However, the judge also commuted to life terms 492 death sentences out of 529 passed in March in a separate case.
After announcing a sentence that carries such a huge weight, it didn't come as a surprise that family members of those being tried outside of the court began to shout, scream, and even faint upon hearing the verdict. There were emotional scenes outside the court after the ruling was handed down, as relatives of those convicted wept and protested the innocence of their loved ones. But one sentence which could actually raise tensions in Egypt instead of dosing it is the death penalty given to Mohammed Badie, the Brotherhood's general guide. The 37 death sentences were part of a final judgment on 529 Muslim Brotherhood supporters who were sentenced to death last month. The remaining defendants were sentenced to life in jail. The charges in both cases stemmed from violence that broke out in Minya last year following a crackdown by the security forces on Muslim Brotherhood protesters in Egypt. One policeman was killed in the storming of a police station in Minya.
The verdict for the first trial is that for the 529 who had received the death sentences. The verdict was modified to 37 death sentences. For the first trial, 529 received death sentences and the rest received a life sentence. The second case, the Edouard case, 688 people were referred to the Grand Mufti. This will definitely be appealed at the Cassation Court. This is for sure. For the second case, the criminal procedural law necessitated that the lawyers be present even if the defendant was accused of a crime.
Death sentence recommendations in the case involving Brotherhood leader Badie will be passed on to Egypt's Mufti, the highest religious authority. His opinion is not legally binding and can be ignored by the court. The mother of one of those convicted said today that her son, Tahir Mohammed Hassan, was innocent of all charges. The biggest trials in Egypt's modern history have reinforced fears among human rights groups that the military-backed government and anti-Islamist judges are bent on crushing dissent. The defense lawyer Mohammed Abdel Wahab said that the summary nature of the trial was proof that normal legal procedures had not been followed.
The right to a defense was breached. In a normal case with a defendant who killed someone, it takes 1 or 2 years. But here it was, wrapped up after the first session directly.
The authorities have branded the Brotherhood a terrorist group, an allegation it denies.